Good evening, everybody. This is the January 6, 2025 meeting of the Beacon Hill Council, and it's being recorded for discussion. Prior to this, we had gone around the room to introduce each other, to introduce ourselves and say what our resolution is and what one item we want for Beacon Hill Council to be able to tackle. The next sections of the meeting basically are pretty simple. One is to go through the 2024 Beacon Hill Council accomplishments and take a look at what the 2025 proposed work plan is going to be. And along with that, I think we're a small enough group, we can encourage people to either put in the chat, what worked, what was easy, and what are the challenges within doing that work. And so if I may, I'm going to bring up a simple PowerPoint and just give me a little bit of time here to get it going. Let me center this. Can you see it? Let me know if it's centered on the screen. Can you guys see it?
Yep, like it's still in presenter. Oh, there.
Is that better?
Yep,
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and, I'm really, I'm not able to see all of you because I minimized my screen to see you. However, if you have a comment, particularly for those of you who worked on these, I would so appreciate it. I figured it'll take us about 15 minutes to go through the slides, okay? All right, 2024 Beacon Hill Council accomplishments, and really it's a big thank you to each and every one of you. I have to move my, sure, there you go. Oops, where'd my goal one? So one of our primary goals is anti-displacement and the building of low-income housing. This current year, the One Seattle Comprehensive Plan that was a draft from the mayor's office was released, and we submitted a letter giving input regarding our concerns with displacement and gave support for adding low-income housing in Beacon Hill. Also, in this year, we received the second year of a U.S. Department of Energy Technical Assistance Grant. We have heard that there was a mixed result in terms of when an environment is greened, in terms of adding trees or having more solar and so on, that it makes the place more attractive so displacement can occur. And at the same time, it also helps people stay in place because it's a healthier environment, and with solar and so on, people are able to reduce their what they can save money from energy. Our partner is the City of Seattle Office of Sustainability and Environment, and we hope that the study will be completed by April, and that then we can use that to inform our community who is interested in developing housing and also housing experts so that they could give us advice on what kind of policy issues we can propose to the One Seattle Comp Plan that will help us grow more housing while keeping people in place. So any comments from folks? Just pipe up. And if not, I'll go to the next slide. The second goal is to address air and noise pollution. In Beacon Hill, we are bounded by the roads, so I-5, I-90, Rainier, MLK, that emits air and noise pollution, and overhead, we're under the flight paths, so we experience 72% of the landings that come from SeaTac Airport. And so the first work that we've been doing this year is the Fix the Harm campaign, which is a Beacon Hill campaign gathering signatures when SeaTac Airport released the Sustainable Airport Master Plan, which would allow them to serve an additional 87,000 flights. We converted that Fix the Harm Beacon Hill campaign to the Stack for Justice, which is a new coalition that we founded, SeaTac Airport Community Coalition for Justice, no added harm from those added 87,000 flights. We gained 41 organizational partners and got 7,006 signatures. In other words, we're talking about bringing more voices to this issue. Item 2 is we had a grant from the City of Seattle Environmental Justice Fund for 30,000 for education and no added harm informational ads in 6 languages in different newspapers. The third one is Earth Justice provided us with free legal representation for Beacon Hill Council and the Duwamish River Community Coalition. And they made the public comments that was sent in for the NEPA, which is the National Environmental Policy Act, on the inadequacy of the SAMP, which is the Service Expansion Plan, finding of no significant impact. And my apologies, there should be number 4. We, as Beacon Hill, led organizing the 8th Community Report Back meeting for Stack for Justice. On the corner, you will see the logo of Stack for Justice, which is a no added harm from air and noise pollution. Any questions or comments? Okay, I'll go on to the next item. The next goal is climate resiliency. We're part of the Beacon Hill Climate Resiliency Task Force, which is El Centro de la Raza, Bethany United Church of Christ, and Beacon Hill Council. And we receive funding from Seattle Environmental Justice Funds. In the summer, we got 2 educational brochures completed on climate resiliency in the winter and climate resiliency in the summer. Climate resiliency basically means how you can survive either a climate heat event or from the forest fires that come to our area. The second item is we envision cooling centers throughout Beacon Hill that have language capacity because our population of 40,000 plus includes 70% people of color and 40% immigrants and refugees. So we got Bethany United Church of Christ, which was already looking at climate resiliency, El Centro de la Raza, which has Spanish language capacity, and they also have Chinese because of their food bank and other languages. And the Filipino community of Seattle agreed to become cooling centers. In Beacon Hill, we also have the 2 libraries, one in Beacon Hill, right by right by Perhillion, and also the library in New Holly as cooling centers. For the 3 organizations that are listed here, with a partnership with University of Washington Clean Energy Institute, we're able to get them a free clean energy audit, design, and cost estimates for them to be able to apply for grants to implement either greening, so converting from oil and gas to electric, and or climate resiliency, which is, as an example, solar panels on the roof. Okay, any comments or questions? Okay, I'll move to the next goal. Oh, continuing goal, climate resiliency. Trees, very, very exciting for us. We have a partnership with City of Seattle Parks and Recreation. We identified 6 properties to purchase using a $3 million fund that we got from King County Conservation. It was initially intended to purchase 19 acres from Brick Pit, but that deal fell apart. So we're looking at other properties for parks to purchase on our behalf, and they will be the one maintaining it. Big, wonderful, wonderful celebration. We also helped the Beacon Hill North neighbors obtain 17th and Walker. And we have one of the primary organizers with us, which is Simon Kaffas. And the last item is we have a partnership with the Office of Sustainable and Environment. Beacon Hill has been identified as climate event prone because of our lack of trees, the fact that we're high up on a hill, and the pollution that's surrounding us. So City of Seattle OSC applied for a U.S. forestry grant. They got 12 million. 1 million will be for planning, and the others will be to obtain trees for Beacon Hill and Chinatown. And this is going to be in public spaces. So lots more thinking on this. Simon, if you want to comment, I'd love for you to comment.
Sure, I'll just say really quickly that this is about the 17th and Walker acquisition, and it's still the papers haven't been signed on it yet, but it's in the works. That Seattle City Council approved it, and the negotiations are already done and over with. And this has been a park that our neighbors in this sort of micro area have been working on getting for over 15 years now. It's a whole city block. There was a Seattle Times article about it that came out recently that you might have seen. And part of what was successful about this process all along the way was not only the tons of work that Maria did to help us get grants and figure out what needed to be done, but also the support of the Beacon Hill Council is something that was really continuously referred to by the people in the county. And thanks for putting that up with. And the folks at the city and at parks and stuff, really, it mattered that the Beacon Hill Council was behind it. So thank you all, and we'll keep you posted on when we get to celebrate there in person.
It's really special. 17th Walker is the last piece of land with trees because of the north, which is an urban center, which is highly developed, and what's coming up from Rainier, which is the other developed area. And just to let you know about relative cost, it costs $5.5 million for that block. So congratulations. I want you to know there's like 40 to 50 North Beacon Hill neighbors who have been working on this, as Simon said, for 15 years now. So it'll be good. Next item is in terms of our neighborhood. So at North Beacon Hill, there's a bike safety initiative, and it was supported by North Beacon Hill neighbors, and they wanted to balance that bike safety with parking needs. And after it's all is said and done, and I have to give kudos to the Seattle Department of Transportation Director, Greg Spots, who actually walked the area with us. And he kept observing that there were a lot of safety issues that needed to be addressed at the same time. So through that process, we were able to get at North, in the north part of Beacon Hill, safety speed signs, bumps, and I think there's 1 or 2 lights that came about. And the second item, again, another joyous, wonderful thing is the Jefferson golfing areas was renamed to be the Bill Wright Jr. Golf Complex. And Mark, if you can say a little something about this, I'd be so grateful.
Well, it was a slog, but we had a lot of community support, a very strong committee. I got to give shout out to Kath Colombo, former member of this council and community member, who did the lion's share of the work to make sure that we stayed on track with this. So very happy that we got it renamed after Bill Wright. Looking to work with the Parks Department to do some final touches, one of which is to get the actual clubhouse sign changed so that banner can come down and the sign can go up. Moving the statue of Gillespie to Broadmoor and getting a statue of Bill Wright put in front of the clubhouse, doing a mural that commemorates the life of Bill Wright inside the clubhouse, all of which is going to take some funding. And we're looking at partnerships with the city, with the Parks Foundation, with First State Golf Club, in order to make all those things happen. So every time I drive by the course, which is at least twice a day, and I see those new signs up, it's like I shake my head going, yeah, we got that done. So
I'm
was-
clapping for you, Mark. Clapping for
I'm
you.
clapping for me.
That is such a joyous thing, and it's wonderful. It was done so well, and one of our allies really is Councilmember Joyce Hollingsworth. She
Mhm.
chairs the Parks and Recreation, and just was really responsive. And FYI, everybody, Mark's team had to change the rules for the renaming. You can only name a park, and they had to amend that rule to say you can also rename an existing park.
Yeah,
That's big stuff. So yes, we can influence changing rules. Very positive.
right. Yeah, because as you said, they have a process for naming parks, but not for renaming parks until we came along and said, hey, we want to rename this park. They go, we can't do that. We haven't done that. It's like, well, try.
Very, very well done. Thank you.
Okay.
And so for 2025 goals, we propose to you as our community to continue all of our goals. And there is one particular item that I would say we would need authorization for. The SeaTac Airport service expansion to accommodate, to serve 87,000 additional flights is going through what is called the NEPA process, the NEPA review process. And they have a finding of no significant impact. FAA will be reviewing all of the comments that have been submitted, and that hopefully they will make a determination. If they continue to find that there's no significant impact, there's an appeal process, and I will be asking for authorization for Beacon Hill Council to request and collaborate with Earthjustice to represent us in that appeal process. They are providing us with free legal services. And then, of course, what we have talked about, which to add, increase, and make it easy for community to attend the meetings. So I'm just gonna take this down and see what else we should consider as our goals for this coming year. And it's an open situation, so please feel free to make comments. I mean, are these appropriate goals for us? Are there things that we are overlooking?
I'll go if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Amelia.
Amelia Sanchez. I'm in South Beacon Hill, and I mean, I don't know if it's mid or south. Either way, there's a lot of items that don't seem to be addressed in this council, in the sense of just noting that South Beacon Hill has a set of needs as well that are different than the north, because the north is more dense and south is not as dense, but yet there's a lot of injustices that I see in the sense of just, we just talked about how the ID and Beacon Hill Connect, well, all of the grandmothers are on that 36 bus and we're all stuck in traffic. So it's just one of those things where it's like, if we can get a way to have a conversation where we can get dedicated bus lanes. I know that there's a lot of conversation about dedicated bike lanes, but at the same time, I'm hoping that we can collaborate those two discussions so that we can ensure that we have dedicated bus lanes as well, especially as, Beacon Hill does become more highly populated as we build more homes in our areas, especially with the comp plan discussion coming up as well too. Also, we have the transportation levy that just passed. And we're going to have the Grand Hill station that's opening up. So again, displacement, as well as easy connection to that Beacon, that actual, that connection to that new transportation access point for transit. And then also, again, I think you've already addressed the air pollution issue with regards to that. Not only is it, it's just not only is it a nuisance as far as people having anxiety as well as not feeling safe to even grow food in their own garden. And so it's not just, you know, breathing the air and living in the environment, but South Beacon Hill is also hit by King County as well as Boeing Airport. So again, we are hit even larger than the north part. So again, I think just bringing in those environmental justice together for the South Beacon Hill, but also again, trying to bring in more people from the south part of Beacon Hill would be really great to see here too.
Emilia, I want to share with you that we are constantly monitoring Middle and South Beacon Hill. So Jerry is in South Beacon Hill, myself, Middle Beacon Hill. And there's a couple of things that I think are at play. One is we cover those. So for example, I'm going to talk about the Graham Hill status that's going to be upgraded to a neighborhood center. That is part of our response within the Seattle Comp Plan. And then the thing about air pollution, not feeling safe to grow food in their own garden. From the Stack for Justice, we obtained a small grant to be able to, there's small test kits so that we can figure out if indeed there is a bigger problem. So now that I've heard you say that, I'm going to connect this issue, and hopefully you can help give voice to who might need to be contacted for that. The KCIA-CC Boeing, in terms of the South Beacon Hill being impacted by them, as well as SeaTac, we supported getting a Beacon Hill dedicated seat in the King County International Airport roundtable, and former Representative Velma Valoria is sitting on behalf of Beacon Hill for that. Also, 4 of us, I represented Beacon Hill, Velma represented King County International Airport Community Coalition. Quiet Skies was represented by, I'm forgetting her name right now, but the 4th one is 350 Aviation Seattle team. All 4 of us participated in the King County Joint Aircraft Emissions Task Force. And that report is now out. That basically identifies, number one, that the King County aviation emissions are not at 3%, but actually are at 15% of emissions. Second is that we've had them analyze, we as a committee, along with airport representation and academic representation, analyze the aviation greenhouse gas reduction tactics and strategies, and concluded that, yeah, they're all viable, but it's going to take decades before they're going to be in place. So what needs to happen in between is some kind of mitigation for the impact, because it's environment, health, and climate. And then the last piece that became the #1 recommendation is that King County International Airports operate small airplanes, and they are still using lead gas. So that was the first item. And we sent a letter to King County Executive Dow Constantine to say, what are you going to do within the King? The report was integrated into the King County Strategic Climate Action Plan. And so our ask now is, okay, it's integrated in the plan. What is the plan to actually reduce greenhouse gases, and of course, to address lead? So my apologies for not making those distinct, but we really need and want to encourage Middle and South Beacon Hill folks to run for council. So we're going to be having an election, I believe, in April or May, and we're going to be going out recruiting. Adam.
Thanks, Maria. Amelia, I just wanted to touch on one thing you mentioned about the 36. I don't know if you're aware, but King County Metro is looking at enhancing Route 36. You're nodding your head, so it sounds like you've already heard this. But we do have some presentation materials that they shared with us last summer. If you're interested, we can share that afterward. But long story short, I doubt we can get a dedicated bus lane the entire route, but they do have some enhancements coming. So there's that.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam. So what I'm loving is the fact that a lot of us are looking and keeping track of different items, and Beacon Hill Council is a way to to focus those so that we can articulate what our needs and concerns are. I'm just looking around the room and see if there's any other comments about what else did we miss? I know, Mark, when you're talking about addressing Little Saigon and how that relates to Beacon Hill, I've been contacted by, there was a vandalism that occurred at the Jose Rizal Park wherein they took the plaque and they took what do you, this is one of those pieces that you open in 50
Time
years.
capsule.
Time capsule. And they're very concerned about what's going on. So they circulated a petition. They received about 100 signatures. And I said to them, when they're ready, we will create time in the Beacon Hill Council to listen to them. Because what is clear from the last 2 years is that it's not just the Jose Rizal Park, the jungle, so to speak. It's also the Lewis Park, Chesty, and those are the ones that I know that have some problems at the green belt at the back of the Seattle Chinese Buddhist Church, which is near Kimball Elementary School. There's also prostitution and drugging. So it's going to be a very important thing that we collaborate and look at it from multiple perspectives.
Yeah, and I would agree with that because it's not just what's happening at 12th and Jackson, 12th and King, 12th and Weller, but it does have an impact on 12th and Lane, heading down to the Goodwill. It does have an impact on Jose Rizal Park with vandalism of the park, especially in the off-leash area where we have a notorious person who likes to use excavators to build shelters there, who's been excluded from the park but keeps coming back. And there's, so it's the efforts to apprehend him, to make him stop doing those things. But in addition to the crime and disorder area things that are happening at Jose Rizal, there's a connection with what's happening in the green space as well as what's happening in Lewis Park. So these are, and what's happening at the Navigation Center and across the street at the Indian Health Board. So these are all interconnected. And it's going to take, the Beacon Hill Council working with SCPTA, working with Friends of Little Saigon, and the other agencies, whether it's SPD, LEAD, or whoever, to really address these things.
So clearly we need to keep an eye on that and also figure out who is the right convener. I definitely see us as participating. It's a very complicated issue. One of the things that when we used to have, I believe it's Captain Green from SPD, he had come before, and he usually is giving us a commitment through Mark that the police captain will come and brief us every 2 months. And so we have a new captain, and we got
Yes, we have new captain, Trung Nguyen. So, and I've known Trung since he actually first started with the Seattle Police Department as the Asian Community Liaison, working in the same office that I did. Then he became an officer, and now he's the captain of the South Precinct. Captain Brown, who was captain of the South Precinct, I believe, has now moved to West. So you've got, we've got.
He's got Chinatown.
Yeah, so we've got community partners with Captain Brown, Captain Strand, Captain Nguyen, who they know this area, they know the problems. So from the Seattle Police Department side, we've got effective partners that we can work with. And it's one of my commitments to, really try to get ahead of one and see what we can do to help the businesses in that community, because there is a direct correlation between what happens there and how it impacts safety and security on Beacon Hill.
Other topics or issues that. Oh, there is one that we worked on maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and that's with the bike safety. So at North Beacon Hill, the plan is done. There were 2 committees, one from Middle Beacon Hill and one from South Beacon Hill, that had a proposal. We probably need to dust that up, ask people to participate in it again and review it. Wherein they had this idea of running one of the bike lanes through, you know how in Beacon Hill we have the continuing park system through that large Middle Beacon Hill. I'm forgetting what it's called. There's a name for it, and it is part of the park system. And to see if those ideas need to be re-enlivened. SDOT Director Greg Spots has left, so there'll be a new director coming in, and we need to get that back on page since our communities, Middle and South Beacon Hill, worked on it.
I think you're talking about the median strip.
The median strip, yeah, that's it. So that would be for Middle and South Beacon Hill. Sorry, guys, all of us are taking notes so we remember what the discussion is. Okay, any others that you think we would need to pay attention to? Oh, one topic that I had some conversation with Bethany United Church of Christ is the incoming president has, we don't quite know, but there's anticipation that there will be mass deportations. So our population has 40% immigrants and refugees. And so hopefully Bethany is going to kind of make a recommendation on what kind of support that our neighbors may need to stay safe. And having been working on DEI when we had the Mideast war, it wasn't just the people who are affected, it's people who look like them and who supported them that were also were at risk because of how their lives could get complicated. So that's also on the monitoring bank, so to speak. Okay. Well, I wish we were together and that we had a table of cookies and punch and tea. You're just going to have to provide your own. But I'm looking around to see if there's any more items that I'm going to look through the chat box. AJ, a King County for Culture grant could be helpful as well for Jefferson Park. Thank you for that information. The Seattle Parks and Recreation made a commitment. They already are going to be replacing the plaque, and the community has to come up with the you know what people want to be able to discover 50 years from now. And from Tiffany Chang, thank you for sharing this recap. Help me understand what this council has done so far. And Whit put in the Seattle Transit blog link. Oh, okay. Adam, no more cookies. Had way too many last month. And Daryl says, thanks for allowing me to join and learn. I'll be tending again. Thank you, Daryl. And please encourage your neighbors to attend. And so don't be surprised because we have this pattern that we have noticed from before. There are people who have continuing interest in all of the Beacon Hill issues, and there are people who come in when they have specific issues. And we have a very strong policy of supporting local neighborhood issues. So please feel free to bring both in. Okay. Any other discussion? So one of the things we're talking about now is the way we have been doing the Zoom link. what we usually do is ask people to let us know if they're coming. And then Amy collects those and then she sends the Zoom link to them. And part of that is because we have been Zoom bombed before, but we're going to be taking a look at that process to see if there's an easier way for people to access the Beacon Hill Council meetings. And I know Whit is interested in helping out with that, and Kalia and Amy would need to talk that process through. Okay, I'm looking around. Any other comments? If not, we're going to go into announcements. All right, not seeing any announcements, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so I just wanted to just let folks know on January 23rd, um, we'll be hosting with King County, we'll be hosting a South Seattle Community Roundtable at El Centro. It's Thursday, January 23rd, from 5 to 7:30. Food will be provided. And the focus of this meeting is well, we've been working, for folks that don't know, the Port of Seattle and King County have been working uh, with the Beacon Hill Council and other community partners, South Seattle, to host a roundtable for the community to come in and kind of engage with the various government entities, particularly King County and Port of Seattle, around issues that are impacting your community. And so this will be, I believe, we had one last October. And so this, I think, will be our third meeting. Maria, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was one prior to the October in 2023. We didn't have one last year. Um, uh, but the hope is to kind of kick it off again or restart this roundtable again with community partners. And the purpose of this meeting is to go to share with folks kind of an update as to where both King County and King County International Airport, I should say, and the Port of Seattle are at with the master planning process. So as it was alluded to earlier, King County or the Port of Seattle has just finished our NEPA process for sustainable airport master plan. King County International Airport is doing the same thing. And so the part of the meeting will be to share kind of details on that. And then we'll also have other partners with the City of Seattle, or government partners attending as well, to kind of just share and discuss other topics that are kind of related. All the government partners are working to address similar issues that are impacting the Beacon Hill community. So at the state level and at the local level, and then also kind of what our federal policy agendas are looking like in regards to everything from things related to our sustainable airport master plan, but also things related to, as Maria mentioned, the change in the federal government and how certain things are going to impact communities that we're all serving, and how we're coordinating efforts and what we're prioritizing, and how we're going to be responding to some of those things. Some of those things will be in kind of defense of some potential policies that we're hearing about, particularly around deportations. As you know, the Port of Seattle, the port is an entry point, and so we are paying attention to kind of how communities are going to be impacted related to anything that the federal government or the new administration does for vulnerable populations. But then other things related to budget requests or budget issues, FAA authorization, that kind of thing. So I sent out an email this afternoon. I think some of you were on that. But if you received it, please share broadly and widely with other folks that you know might be interested in attending.
Yeah, I had a discussion with Andres Mantilla, who is the consultant for this project, because in the aviation community, a roundtable has specific meaning. So I had asked Andres has this roundtable been chartered? And he said not yet, but they're interested in hearing about community issues. So hopefully we'll be able to express our issues through the SAMP response and concerns, and also be able to talk through. Usually an aviation roundtable is a voluntary convening, and FAA is there, and usually the airlines at times will participate. And so we as a community are not clear on that. So hopefully more conversations with Andres will help us through.
Yeah, no, and thanks for bringing that up, Maria. And I think it is a valid conversation. I think, I think one of the things we want to discuss, with the community partners and moving forward in terms of this roundtable is what actually is the structure and the focus of it. Because I don't know, yeah, as you know, Maria, I've only been with the port for a little over a year, and I know the roundtable kind of name was, I don't know how it came to be. But I think there's a question of how much of the focus is going to be on aviation, and how much is going to be related to kind of issues that include aviation, but other kind of maybe transportation related issues that are impacting noise and air quality. But other things that we've discussed as well. So I think it's a conversation I think we want to have, because the most important thing is we want to make sure that we're responding to the community and making sure that the time and the effort that people are putting to make these meetings happen and to attend, it's serving the purpose of giving the community what they want and what they see value in. So yeah, so I think that we're very much open to that conversation.
Thank you, AJ. Questions, comments? If not, it's so wonderful to have this gathering. I just want to check in. Do we have support in being able to move forward and continue the advocacy we're doing? And of course, taking into consideration the new items that have come up for us to take a look at. So are there any concerns or non-support for those things? I'm just looking around.
Support, yeah.
Okay. Should I do a motion so it's cleaner? How about this? All of those who support Beacon Hill Council moving forward with the goals and the issues that need to be monitored, please raise your hand. Okay. Oh, thank you. I see signals. Love it. Okay. All right. Mark? Okay, I see Amy voting also. Mark, thank you. All right, it looks like majority supported. Thank you very much, everybody. And again, these are just a skeleton. And of course, we're going to be doing work planning and also having people, our council members assigned as leads on these different issues. And I really encourage those of you who are not on the council to attend regularly, as well as consider running, because the way we do our work is that we have the community meeting from 6:30 to about 7:30, and then we have the council meeting, so that we're following the guidance and the input that we're getting from you. All right. And with that, shall we say thank you and good night? And I'd like the Beacon Hill Council members to stay, please, so that we could take this put these community guidance into direct motion and adopt the work plan. Thank you, AJ. I'm seeing, thank you, Tiff. Oh, good. Tiff said she'd love to get more involved. Yay, team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you participating. Okay, so we're going to have a council meeting.